Day 211 of Hey, What Are You Doing Today? Took a step back, not in a good way. Talk about that in a second, but a really weird thing happened today, and I figured I'd just talk about it just to record it. It's 210 days, and one of the first little goals that I had was to be able to get up first thing when my alarm went off and jump out of bed and be ready to go. And regretfully, it was good for a little while, but regretfully I've come away from that, and I've got back into hitting that snooze button and enjoying that little bit of sleep, sub-sleep that we go in and out of as we're in that stage of awakening. But as I mentioned in a previous video, I missed that from being a kid. I missed being able to just, the alarm would go off and I would jump out of bed and be ready to go and be excited. And I think that's something too that I talked about yesterday was when we're more, I believe it was yesterday, might have been 2 days, when we're more mindful. It seems to me that I was more mindful as a child when things were fresh and new, and my eyes were open wide, and as I've gotten used to things, I've become more in that zombie state. And I think that that's the same thing in some ways with this snooze button effect. That when as a kid, I mean, every day is kind of exciting. What's going to happen next? Everything's still fresh, and I'm sure that it's still a part that to health and the wares of age on the body when it comes down to that feeling. But I believe it's something that I can get back, and it's something that I want to get back, and it's something that I forgot about concentrating on, and falling back into that cycle. But the interesting thing was today I was in that cycle of hitting the snooze button, and I was actually thinking about that. What do I need to do to escape the snooze button cycle? And it's silly because it's just as simple as getting up, putting my feet on the ground and moving, and that's it, and getting used to that and having my body get used to that. It really is just that simple. But anyway, I was hitting my snooze button, and then the alarm would go off and I'd wake up and I'd hit the snooze button and so on. I think we all know that cycle. And oddly enough, I went into a dream sequence, and I was driving a car. All I remember is it might have been a Mustang, but it was very souped up, kind of high end, a lot of performance stuff going on it, and it wasn't my car, and it was new to me, and all the performance I was kind of getting used to, and the power, and it felt like it was running funny, and as I was pulling out of a parking lot into the intersection, as soon as I pulled out, I looked to the left of me, and there was a big SUV coming, something like a Suburban, coming fast and coming hard. And I put my arms down to my side and just kind of let myself go loose, knowing that there was nothing I could do. And it hit me, and it was solid. I mean, literally shook me out of out of bed, and immediately I was just awake. My heart pounding, my eyes wide open, like, oh my God, But it took me right from that state. That excitement took me right from that state to to being completely wide awake, and it was so peculiar, so impactful that even driving to work, I was looking at intersections. I think people do that when they're in serious accidents. They if you're, especially if you're hitting an intersection, something like that, you get very tense when you come to intersections afterwards, which is totally understandable. But I was actually, it was so close to reality that I actually had that feeling when I was driving to work. I was looking around like that. But it all comes back to excitement. That probably isn't the best way to be excited out of sleep, but how can I generate that excitement that gets me to wake up with full energy, ready to go? And I think that there's quite a few different elements of that to generate that energy and that excitement. So I think that's something I need to concentrate on. And part of that's also is just training, just getting up when the alarm goes off, so I can get back in that mode and hopefully make a difference there. And then to get back to the beginning of what I was talking about, taking a step back, it's interesting that I mentioned yesterday how things were. There was something that was affecting me at work, and it wasn't affecting me the same way. However, it came in today, and that continued to brew a little bit, and I offered a reaction, and it was an incorrect reaction. Um, Nothing too horrible, but there's two ways for me to grow from it, and not have that reaction, and not lose that control. The biggest thing is just to forgive myself for having done it, let it go. In the past, I could sit and I could dwell on it. I could relive the action over and over again. I could relive the reaction over and over again, and the circumstances and the scenario, and try to pick it apart and try to figure out what I did wrong, what I could do differently. But that just keeps reliving that negative energy. It keeps regenerating all those negative feelings when I do that. So there's no point in that. I just need to forgive myself, recognize the mistake, forgive myself for the mistake, let it go. And then the second thing is to make a pact with myself to never let it happen again. I mean, I've got to be in that frame of mind that if something's building, if something's culminating like that, I need to stop and find something to be grateful for, whether it's just as simple as being grateful that that dream I had this morning was just a dream and not a legitimate experience. But I got to take myself out of that situation, or at least take myself away from the energy that situation's generating. Escapism is a whole other thing. I don't want to be an escapist where I avoid that situation, but I need to pull myself away from the feeling and then analyze the situation as best I can without the feeling, and then put myself back in it and try to figure out the best way to make that situation work, I guess is not the correct word I'm looking for, but I think I'll get the picture when I watch this video again. But just a weird day, just a weird series of events, just strange, and I want to get, it's been like a day, maybe this will be one of the best lessons or something, but it's been like a day where I can't find any, not that I'm struggling to find some good information. I'm struggling to find something to get me out of this this cycle, and but at the same time it's not as bad as it would have been 211 days ago, so I'll take that as still a valid sense of progress and a valid